Balinese watering system. Not bad. Hello, Amed here, and today will be the third episode where I will talk about the Amed Tulamben dive sites. So this is a place which is called Lipah beach, and I will start all the story from here. So this will be the first site which I will describe. Sorry for the wind, it's windy today. Alright, Lipah beach. The place where is a sandy beach. Not so many around here. Usually it's a black sand or it's like the small stones. This one is sandy. And this is also one of the places which was open during the beginning of the pandemic. 2020, it was almost only place where we were able to dive. That side, that's the way the dive site started. Probably this is the last dive site where the currents are still moderated as closer we coming to the Japanese wreck. Every dive site which is closer to the Japanese wreck, that means that's the narrowest place between Bali and Lombok, and there are really strong currents. Here in the middle there is one place with the turtles. Then there are in the middle is also one project where they are gardening the corals, basically artificially growing them. And if you're going closer to that rocks which I'm pointing at the moment, where the beautiful reef starts, and then you can drift all the way to the land beach, which is the next place. All right. First of all, you're swimming out. You're swimming over these corals, which is about 12 meters depth. At the moment you're looking at a slope. Then on the edge of the slope you can see these green turtles eating green grass, and usually there are two of them. Then at 6 meter depth there is this coral project. There are many of corals, people growing. It's already like 3-4 years old project. In the middle of the beach you can see this motorbike, which is became as an artificial reef. And at 20 meters depth there's a lot of corals, hard corals, pinnacles, a lot of small fishes living in there. And what is really interesting about this place, there are a lot of these pinnacles on which corals growing, and also fun corals. And in a shallow part there's always these hard corals, which attracting a lot of fishes, and it looks amazing. All these colors of the fishes, it's just incredible. These pink corals, these colonies of the corals. It's simply amazing place. This is an extension of Land Beach, and in that corner we are going in for the next dive site, and it's called Deep Blue. Almost all the time is a drift. Only if you're diving during the full moon, then there is no current, which is really strange, because usually during the full moons we have strong currents all around the world, while here, because we are located between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, all these oceans meet together and all the currents stop. Whenever we need to do any drift diving courses, or people want to experience drift, or we want to prepare them for Komodo drift, so then we're doing all these drifts here. Sandy area here, later on nice slope with the beautiful corals, and then we go. It really depends how you dive. In this case we're diving from the shore, then you swim over this shallow part which is 4-6 meters. If you want to save on the no stop times, then you have to a little bit swim out more. and then again this huge pinnacles with old coral colonies, and on a slope you can see corals like in this video. These drum corals. And then when you're on a 30 meters depth, there's no point to go deep at this dive site, deeper than 30 meters. So then there is like a sandy combination with boreal corals, a lot of fishes usually, and you just drift over this place. In this particular dive there was not that strong current, and this is also the slope, where the slope ends actually. And then it's gradually going down to I don't know how many meters, but there is nothing really to do deeper than 30 meters at this dive site. Then when you swim a little bit up, then you see drum corals. All this dive site is combination of the pinnacles and drum corals. Some hard corals, usually also some sharks. Really rich and colorful landscape. That it's full of fishes always, and it's never disappointing at this place. The current anyways is really moderate, nothing to really worry about. The reef is pretty flat, and if you're drifting you're not really risking to bump into something. Really nice, long and really comfortable drift. If we're doing it from the boat, then we're coming out on a boat. If someone have a really good air consumption, we can drift all the way to Japanese wreck. There was one situation when we drifted all the way to Japanese wreck, and a boatman was waiting us, and he didn't emerge, and we can drift so long. And the last dive site for today is the Japanese wreck, just behind me. Why it's called Japanese wreck? Because there was a black buoy like 30 meters away from the beach, or maybe 20 meters, that's where the Japanese wreck is. Don't get disappointed when you will dive there for the first time, because it's really small, about 15, I don't know, maybe 20 meters long shipwreck, which sank down during the World War II. But it's really famous because again, it's really shallow, even snorkelers can see it, and you don't need a scuba tank and scuba gear to dive there. I made the episode about that really long time. It's a separate episode about this wreck and why it's so famous. I'm not going to repeat it this time, but at this side there is a really nice corals. And something you have to understand about this place, this is the narrowest place between Bali and Lombok. That's where all the our speedboats which leaving from Amed coming up to this point and then crossing to the gillies. You have to be ready that starting from here, every time you're diving you always have to keep in mind that it can be cold. Sometimes when we're diving here it can be 25 degrees, 24 degrees, and if you're diving in 3 mils or shorty, 3 mil shorty, that it will be really cold. And at the moment you're looking at that famous Japanese wreck. All what is left from this wreck, nothing really much. It's really hard to understand is it a wreck or not, but it's attracting a lot of fishes, and it's also a lot of corals growing there, as on any artificial thing underwater. And I'm not looking at this as a wreck, I'm looking more it as a place where you can see something special, sometimes some frog fishes which are hiding here, and also some, like you see the small fishes hiding there. Next to the wreck there's this corals which is about 20 meters depth, as you can see in a corner of this video. All this coral formation, that's all there. And then when you swim a little bit up, then there is this beautiful coral garden which is on the left side when you're looking at the beach. So beautiful and so healthy corals, because in this place there is this cold currents, all the corals are really healthy. And since in that corner no also big waves, so they are not damaged. In the last episode I will cover another 3 dive sites, which is always with a strong currents. We definitely have another dive sites after the Gili Selang, and I've been diving one of them. Beautiful site, pretty challenging, but it's already like by boat it's really far to go, and not every boatman is ready to go there because it's a lot of responsibilities where to catch out all the divers from this site, and so that's why we are not diving there that often. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like, smash the thumbs up button, follow, subscribe, and see you tomorrow again. Bye.